Hey everybody, so this short video is for everybody who feels stuck right now, especially given everything happening with COVID-19, the pandemic. So the main issue is you're feeling stuck because you're resisting. You're resisting the secret and hidden gifts that this whole thing is providing. And I realize that making a statement like that might be a little bit triggering, because there are people who are suffering, there are people who are dying, there are people who have had loved ones who have passed as well. So understand that I am not saying this irrespective of deep awareness and compassion for those people. But what I am saying is that for those of us who feel stuck right now and would rather have a better experience, I want to invite you to the possibility and be an invitation to you that you can absolutely, without question, overcome this. And not only just overcome and live through this time, but actually to expand and become more of who you are. I know this is possible because it's exactly what I've been doing. And there's no spiritual bypassing in this. There's no pretending. There's only awareness and moving through the stuckness in your body, things you've been carrying with you for years. There is an intense presence, but there's also a refusal to fully and completely, it's not that we're not stepping into the fear and the doubt and the sadness and all of those things, it's that we are refusing to stay there, to be stuck in it. The main thing that you can do is to process unprocessed emotions right now. So understand that everywhere you're being triggered, it's not so much the current trigger as what that brings up for you from your past. Okay, so there have been multiple times during this entire thing where I have been triggered and just had to put my hands on my body. And as I'm near panic attack levels, I call it a silent panic. I have more of a silent panic. And so I had to put my hands on my body and just breathe as I could feel myself internally freaking out. But I knew it was happening. It wasn't about the trigger, the thing that, got me into that state. It was about my reaction to it. And was I going to try to repress it like I did when I didn't know any better in my past, or was I going to finally be a presence and a space for it? And so I was a presence and a space for it, and it went. And it went. And what that left after it was a sense of calm and peace. And what that left after that was not just that, but my triggers are changing. It's becoming harder and harder to trigger me because I'm healing and reintegrating. And that's what you need to focus on right now, is your reintegration and your healing. And this requires what I call aggressive self-care. Aggressive. And if you don't know what to do and what that looks like for you, that's okay. But I encourage you to jump online. That's what's so beautiful about right now, is we all have the internet, and start looking up transformational speakers or, somebody who inspires you. I can give you guys a couple that I really love right now. Kyle Cease, C-E-A-S-E, he's amazing. Gabby Bernstein is really cool. Brene Brown is awesome. Any of the tools of Access Consciousness, if you've ever heard of that. I really like Shannon O'Hara from there as well. I'm trying to think who else. Erin Chanel is amazing. You can find her on Instagram and YouTube. I also really like Maggie Emerson. You can hop on to her Facebook group as well. She does a lot with mamas, if you're a mom. Yeah, but you have to dig down deep. You can't just go with the flow right now. And I'm actually a huge proponent of going with the flow, but more, it's not the flow, it's your flow, okay? If you go with the flow, especially if you are empathic or, you're a healer, it's very toxic to go with the flow. So you actually have to become very present and go with your flow and be very curious about what that flow is. Now, I can tell you that your flow is going to feel, even when you're in it, like and you're triggered, there is going to be this sense of, how can I put this, like clarity in the confusion, right? Because just like when I was having this sort of silent panic attack and I became aware of it, I was putting my hands on my body and just being and breathing and telling myself, it's okay, I've got you. Like, it's okay, I've got you, I hear you, I see you, I'm right here, and you take as much time as you need. But I could see, even in that very intense energy, the opposite end of it, which was me knowing that I was releasing trauma by experiencing the trauma. And we don't always have to re-experience things to let them go. It's only the stuff that we have identified very strongly with or attached ourselves to. Those are the energies that you're going to tend to have to like cry it out or, talk it out or whatever. There's tons of energies that are leaving, negative traumatic energies that you aren't even aware of, which is wonderful, right? They're subconsciously leaving you as you learn to become more of a space for yourself. But I can tell you right now, you can't change fear. You can't change sadness. You can't change doubt. You can't change it from the inside out. Like, in terms of, you can't go into anger and try to change into something else. You can't go into sadness and try to change it into something else. You can't go into that fear, try to change it into something else. You have to step out of it and move past it and move beyond it. And you do that by acknowledging it, by being with it, by recognizing it, by breathing, by flowing yourself beautiful, like loving energies, by saying the truth to yourself, which is always going to feel light and expansive. So very loving, kind thoughts. If you have a hard time with being kind to yourself, then just pretend that you're talking to your best friend or the person that you love more than anything, even if it's your dog. And then whatever you would say to that person, say to yourself, and start to practice this more and more. And structure your day. Get some, good tools. Look around, poke around. I've got, a podcast for people that's free. I have a blog that's free. I have a Facebook group as well called Distance Energy Healing for You and the World. I do nightly Reiki distance sessions for everybody, in that group and the world at large too, but it's a much deeper healing if you actually join onto the group, and there's a healing list thread on there where you can put your name. When you get the conscious mind on board, it's much deeper healing. When the conscious mind is not on board, it's kind of like you might or might not. You might or might not receive it, right? Because this energy, Reiki, it never violates free will. So there are so many tools available to you. And if you guys need some more, I'm happy to give you some more resources because I'm like a junkie with this stuff. It's awesome. Like, I have so many tools in my tool belt, and oh my God, are they helping me tremendously right now. But I can't stress enough, you're not going to get to any sense of peace and ease if you just keep doing the automatic thing, if you keep trying to do what you did before this happened. If you keep allowing yourself to stay surface level, you're going to be sucking in all sorts of like little stuff from people around you, from the news, just all of it. And this is not a time to just go with that flow. This is the time to discover what your flow is. And what can happen is you have the possibility right now to clear, and I'm not exaggerating, to clear years worth of trauma in a matter of weeks and months. That is what I have found. The transformation that I am going through on a personal level is astronomical, and I'm so grateful. And I'm really grateful for you guys for listening to this. I know it's not the easiest thing, but I want you to know that there is a way to navigate yourself out of this very thick forest. And just show up, be present, and get your focus and attention to move forward, to get off of the sadness and the suffering. Because here's the thing. Is joy, your joy, going to create more joy in the world, or is your misery, suffering, and pain going to create more joy in the world? Obviously, joy is going to create more joy, right? If a person is exuberant, happy, living their truth, then it's easier for that to spread to others. So everywhere you're trying to process for other people, you're just feeling bad and sad for them, you keep the compassion, keep the caring, keep the unconditional love, like flow it all day long. But don't stay there. You don't have to hurt yourself in order to prove that you care. You don't have to pull in and sponge up people's energies and try to change it for them and take responsibility for them, for their suffering and healing. And you're going to know if you're doing that, because you're going to feel like bad, especially if you're around somebody who's feeling bad. When you're done with that interaction, if you feel really horrible in your body, it's your body telling you that you're taking on responsibility for something that's not yours. So you want to return that to sender, and that's how you say that. You say, okay, if you notice that, whatever it is in your body, let's say it's your heart. Okay, whatever this energy is in my heart, I return it to sender. Wherever I'm processing other people's pain, misery, shame, fear, confusion, whatever, right? I return it to them now. And it's kind. It's so kind to return it to them. It's so kind. It's kind to you. So return it to them. You don't have to do this to yourself, guys.